Hello and welcome to the Higher School of Economics, Moscow, Russia. The focus of this video is on monoglossic language ideologies that are found in bilingual education. As we all know, bilingual education programs can serve many different functions in the society. When it comes to language majority students, bilingual education programs can function as a vehicle for increasing their privileged position in the society through the development of marketable skills. In addition, bilingual education programs can help stimulate greater openness and tolerance for other cultures, greater opportunities for creative thinking, and increased mutual understanding. When it comes to language minority students, bilingual education programs are often the outcome of political struggle for autonomy and self-determination. They can also serve as a tool of community empowerment. Therefore, bilingual educational programs can be seen as tools for reinforcing privilege. They can also be seen as tools for emancipatory efforts. And finally, they can be seen as tools celebrating and appreciating cultural and linguistic diversity. Let's now focus on monoglossic language ideologies. They begin with the assumption that monolingualism is the norm. And this assumption leads to two different schools of thought, namely subtractive and additive bilingual education. Subtractive bilingual education targets language minority students living in societies where their home languages are either excluded from or minimally included in education. The ultimate goal is to develop student proficiency in the dominant language of society with little or no interest in the development of their home language. In this respect, submersion can be seen as an extreme form of subtractive education which entails a complete prohibition of the use of the home language in school. However, there are transitional bilingual education programs that vary in forms depending on the context and resources available. For example, some programs have no clear structure, that is, they leave it up to the teacher to decide how minority language will be used. Other programs use a minority language for a percentage of time that gradually declines as students progress in their schooling. Yet, other programs use a minority language exclusively for a few years before there is an abrupt shift to the majority language. Let's now turn to additive bilingual education, which can serve language majority, language minority, or both student populations at the same time. And the main goal is to promote the development of both languages of instruction in order to achieve equal competency in these languages. We have already mentioned immersion in our previous videos. In this context, immersion is seen as a form of elite bilingual education that aims at teaching an additional language to language majority students. There are three different models of immersion programs. First, early immersion model, where students are immersed in the new language from the very first years of schooling. Second, mid-immersion model, which begins immersion in the 4th or 5th grade. And finally, late immersion model, which begins immersion in the 6th or 7th grade. So, immersion can be full or partial. In the full immersion, the new language is used in 100% of instruction. In the partial case, only 50% of the new language of instruction is used. Let's now take a look at dual language bilingual programs. They target language minority students and develop competency in two languages. Two types of programs can be distinguished. One-way program exclusively serves language minority students from one ethno-linguistic community. Two-way program serves language minority students from one ethno-linguistic community as well as language majority students with little or no background in the minority language. In the dual language bilingual programs, there are two major ways of allocating languages. In the first type, the minority language is used for 90% of initial instruction, with the use of the majority language gradually increasing until both languages are used equally. The second type uses both languages equally from the beginning of schooling. It is important to stress here that in monoglossic language ideologies, two languages are kept separate. In the next video, I'll be talking about heteroglossic language ideologies and how they differ from monoglossic language ideologies. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.